It's time for our update in Elko City News today on this Tuesday, and we welcome Annette Robinson to the studio today. Annette is the Elko City Clerk, and Annette, it's wonderful to see you and to get updated with all the great things you're working on.
Well, thank you, Lori. Thanks for having me. So as the city clerk, I'm responsible for our website, and so we're trying to keep the citizens informed of all events and things that are going on in the city. So right now there's a big push. Our Elko strategic planning. We're having a community workshop that's being put on by the University Center of Economic Development, part of the College of Business at the University of Nevada, Reno. They're actually helping us put together a 5-year strategic plan for the city and what's important to our community. So this workshop that's going to be over 4 days, you don't have to attend all 4 days. They're just come to one of them. So starting this next Thursday, June 26th at 6:30 to 8:30, and that one will be at our city hall in the council chambers. And then Friday, June 27th from 6:30 to 8:30, they'll have one at the Elko Convention Center in the turquoise room. Saturday, they'll have 2 of them. They'll have one from 10:30 to 12:30 at the convention center, and then from 4 to 6. So if you can go to our website at elkocity.com, it's under our latest news. There is a flyer on there with the link to register for that. And this is just for the community, so no city staff will be there. It's 100% the city, and we want to know what everybody in our community wants the city to do, like new projects, what's important, like more city parks or that kind of stuff. So yeah.
It sounds really positive, Annette. And again, it's a great opportunity. I think as some city officials have talked about, including manager Jan Baum, strategic planning is important to realizing goals, to make sure you budget properly. They can be, updated in between, so it's nothing that's written in stone.
No, but it gives us a roadmap, basically, where our community wants us to work towards, right? So I think it's a great thing. We did have on our website for a couple of months a survey that did end April 30th, so hopefully we got a lot of response. I don't know how many people responded, but I'm hoping, because they're going to compile all this information together to present to the city to show us where we need to go.
And you don't have to be, up to date on everything. You don't have to be an expert or someone who's experienced.
No.
Maybe you've never been to a meeting, but you're a resident and maybe you moved here from somewhere else. Maybe you have an idea or a question or just a thought. And I think, Annette, it's important to emphasize the reason the staff and the elected officials won't be there, it's not because they don't want to hear these things, but they just want to create an environment where people are free to sort of discuss. Maybe there are concerns, maybe there are accolades, right?
Yes, correct. So the university, they had already interviewed a lot of the city staff, so they've already got our input, so now we need the community's input, so that's why they're doing that.
Great. Well, it's a wonderful opportunity again, and it's just a way to help shape your community. And, we've said it before, but, if you don't speak up, then you don't really kind of have a right to complain if things aren't going the way you hope. I mean, we all get to vote, as far as city residents for our representatives, but this is just a great way to kind of check up in between.
Yeah, and just help us out, because, great ideas come out of stuff like this, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a really good session. Again, Thursday, June 26th, conducted by a third party, UNR College of Business, and their folks strategic planning for the city of Elko. We'll be reminding listeners of those opportunities. Good to know there are different times, Annette, so people can attend those various sessions.
Yeah, I think they got definitely a variety of times there for people, especially on the Saturday, doing it 2 different times, so that helps with people's schedules.
Very cool. We want to make sure we keep running down the list of our downtown sidewalk.
Yes. So that started on Monday, actual construction. So the RDA downtown corridor sidewalk project. So I want everybody to be aware. Right now they're working on Railroad Street between 4th and 5th Streets. I know, so there's a lot of businesses being impacted, so some businesses might use their back entrances to be able to get in, but MKD Construction, they've been very helpful. They're going to try to keep all the business owners aware of what's going on throughout the whole project. That was kind of very strategic in what we wanted, all the businesses down there to know that we're not trying to close their businesses out. But this is a beautification project, and I think it's going to be a wonderful thing once it's all completed. So
yeah, the businesses will be able to possibly, expand, or at least, there'll be more pedestrian safety. That's important. They're installing improvements in the infrastructure, like the water lines, which is huge.
Yeah, the water lines, the sidewalk, better access for, ADA. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be, because that some of those streets down there, those sidewalks are a little sketchy.
Yeah, they've been there since the horse-drawn wagon days, honestly.
Well, yeah, there's some of them that are way higher, and so, yeah, it'll definitely look a lot better. And, have some trees down there for some beautification, and they'll have water lines to those trees, so they'll be watered, and yeah, it's going to be great. So
downtown RDA sidewalk reconstruction is underway. It's about a $2.2 million project. Again, we appreciate everyone looking forward to the end of it, but in this meantime, be patient.
On our website, so there are some maps on there. It's under our latest news, so it's under a public service announcement, and it actually has some maps, so you'll know when construction for each section and how the detours and stuff are going to happen down there.
Oh, that's perfect. What a great tool to find. elkocity.com under latest news, and then you can pull up those maps for your convenience. So that's the downtown RDA sidewalk reconstruction. It's going to last all summer, but by October, they should be starting to button things up.
Yeah, around in October, they should be down to where they're just going to be repaving the streets in those areas, because they'll save that for last, but they'll get all the sidewalks and stuff reconstructed on, because it's basically kind of a little horseshoe. It's from 4th to 5th on Railroad, and then it goes from 4th to 5th on Commercial, and then 5th to 6th on Commercial also. So all those sidewalks are going to be way better.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to, but it is underway, and we'll keep talking about it here on this radio show on the Tuesday update, especially for the city, all summer long.
And then just so everybody's aware, I know this already started today. The landfill, they only have one scale operating, so I know it's been getting backed up there, but they are definitely trying to keep it flowing. So just be patient, but they do need to, do some parking lot maintenance up there. So it was scheduled. So it was yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then, of course, Thursday, just so everybody knows, it's Juneteenth, and so the city is off. So all city staff are going to be off on the city hall, landfill, animal shelter, places like that. So
it's a federal holiday.
It's a federal holiday. So,
yep. So that
just want to remind people, don't come to City Hall to pay your water bill.
Yeah.
It'll be closed.
Yep. Thursday, June 19th, which is Juneteenth. So that, and you'll find, the same with a lot of offices and businesses as well. Thanks, Annette, for reminding us.
Yes. So we have a couple of art projects that we're kind of, so it's from the Arts and Culture Advisory Board. And they're doing a 2026 semi-quincentennial art project, and to honor our 250-year anniversary. And so we're still looking for artists. That's on our website where they can apply to submit a proposal for that project. It's up, there's up to $10,000 towards that project. So hopefully we can get some artists out there to put in a nice little sculpture, and that'll be down in our corridor too.
Yeah, that will fit with all the reconstruction. I've heard some rumbling about a really cool project in that, and I think it involves, or could involve, I think they're recruiting right now and talking to some very talented welding students from Great Basin College.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be neat?
That would be really neat. Stay here in the community. Yeah, so I just want to get the word out. I end up attending all those arts and culture advisory boards, so as the city clerk, so
yeah,
I'm learning all kinds of new things.
You are, and we appreciate the work that you do, Annette. Again, she's there, she's helping organize all the minutes, and as you said, you and I'm sure the city attorney confer quite a bit. I mean, you have to know the codes. You kept the city on track during the legislative session. You put in a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours.
Yeah,
it's fun, and I've really enjoyed my time so far. It's been great. I've just learned so much, and it's been amazing. So,
well, you're certainly suited to that job, Annette, and you fill great shoes. We have a wonderful tradition of female city clerks. I can't think of having had a male city clerk for some time. Not that that matters, but it's just interesting. Yeah,
as far as I can, I don't know if we've ever had.
Yep.
So,
yep, there you go. So, the other things on your list today?
Oh, yeah, we have another art proposal. This one, this is a quick one. They're trying to get this done before the fair. So it's a Cedar Street retention wall mural project. There's already a mural on there that is fading, peeling.
It's time.
It's time. It needs to be revamped. So they're looking to do that. Their proposal deadline is next week, June 27th. And if you submit those proposals to Jody Notestein at elkocitynv.gov, so it's JNOTESTINE at elkocitynv.gov, and that's a $2,000 fund to do that mural. So it's going to be prepped. The fairgrounds and the city will do some sandblasting and get it all prepped for a mural. So
we know some, local artists that would probably do a fantastic job. I know I'm thinking of someone in particular, and her name's Sandy Beeler. I hope she applies. She's really very talented. So
yes, so
that'd be cool.
It'd be great. We want the Elko community. I know before that was painted. My son, they asked this Boy Scouts and stuff, and he was in Boy Scouts, and he helped paint some of that the last time. So
that's good. So keep it in mind. If you are a local artist and you need some help, maybe you can recruit
from the Scouts or Girl Scout, any
even
of those,
the 4-H.
4-H, anybody. So
they'd like to get it done. By fair.
They have to do their little community service hours, right?
Yes. So perfect. So we're putting things together, and that's in time for the fair, of course.
Yeah, that's our goal. So it's kind of a rushed project, but hopefully we can get it done. Water meters.
Oh, that's another topic. Yep, it's underway.
It's underway. I was just told they're still up in the Sierra Drive in the Colonial area right now. So be patient, but I think that's going pretty good. Haven't had a lot of complaints so I think it's going well.
With the installation, yeah. And I know the mayor mentioned Tuesday during the meeting, and he said, July, the bills are going to start coming in. People are going to notice a difference. Don't panic if it's way out of line.
Right,
just
because
call.
it's going to, call. There might be a leak. We've had a call that, my bill is astronomical, and, there was a leak in the line, but didn't have a water meter in there, so we never knew that there was a leak there, right? So
and that's part of the purpose.
That is part of the purpose. We need to conserve our water in this high desert.
So that's one way to look at it. And again, you're not going to be charged for the water that was leaking. I mean, it's a detection process as well.
It is.
Yeah.
So.
And I know there are different options. If it's on city property, the city repairs the leak. So
yes, if it is. So you're responsible from the city to your house. And there's where that insurance was being sent out, and everybody was calling. Was this the city? It's a third party, but we, definitely said go ahead with it, and
it's legitimate.
It's legit. So it can give you a peace of mind of that section that the city wouldn't fix for you. So.
Yeah, it can, and it offers a couple of options for both the exterior and even interior plumbing in your house. So something to consider Not very expensive, but I think if they got the whole city insured, it would be worthwhile to the company. So
Yeah, definitely. So we have another construction project. The summer is full of construction projects. I just got this one before I came in. The 12th Street Bridge construction. So traffic is going to be a little slow, but they've actually decided now that they're going to do evening and nighttime hours between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. So that could help. And it's going to be through Sunday evening till Friday mornings. So I'm hoping that'll help. During rush hour mornings, they should be already closing up to let people go through. So,
and for the most part, it'll be open for the weekend, from what you just described, right? You said Sunday
through Friday, so Saturday. There still might be some down to one lane type of stuff, but because they're going to try to keep it open, it's just morning rush hour. It gets really backed up if we were doing it during the day. So
it's safety and maintenance. It can only be done during the summer.
Right. And also it's part of Union Pacific Railroad too. So we have to coordinate with them because that bridge goes over the railroad tracks. So it was a project that had to be coordinated with them also. So because there's work that needs to be done under the bridge, but the trains go. So we have to wait when trains aren't going, and there's less trains in the evening. So
that makes sense. And when does it start? Did they tell you?
July 7th, that's going to start, and it goes through October 7th.
Okay.
They're hoping to have it done sooner, but we'll see what they find when they start, taking the asphalt off there and seeing if there's cracks and stuff. So, yep.
So another thing
going. But hey, we just finished up the Jennings Way street up there, up to the VA cemetery. So it's now paved up to that.
Nice.
So yeah, that just got completed.
And that's in the area, that connects over by Adobe Middle School?
Adobe Middle School, yep.
Nice.
So from up there to the cemetery, they've just finished that off. And then they're about ready to finish off on Water Street, where the train had wrecked and that gouged the streets and
didn't gouge any people, thank goodness. It could have been so much worse.
And that's another project that we are working with the railroad on. So that's
it's kind of typical. These things take a while, but it'll be done soon.
Yeah, and it's, like you said, they're almost done. They're like on the last couple of things to do. So. I just want to let everybody know, too, on our website, we have that Mormon cricket, report line. So if you see those Mormon crickets, you can go to our website, and it has a link to the Nevada Department of Agriculture, so you can report that there's crickets in your area so that they can come out and help take care of that problem.
Yeah, they're on the march. They're on the move, unfortunately.
They are. I don't think they're as bad as they were last year or the year before. So
you better knock on wood.
I know, right?
I better. It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, we're all, we get affected one way or another, really. They don't bite. They're not dangerous, but they do affect your psyche, yeah.
They don't bother me at all. So,
I'm kind of the same way, Annette. I'm just like, well, they're going to move on. They're icky. They're creepy, but they're going to move on. And I don't know. Yeah. So, it's no fun to see anything like that in a swarming mass.
Yeah.
But
I think it's kind of interesting. So
we're different that way. It's okay. It's all right. But we can totally get it. Well, and I do understand and want to acknowledge the frustration, because people who like to work in their yards, they can't, because they're just there, and they eat their landscaping, they eat their vegetables and flowers and all the things that they work so hard on. So
I know
that part.
So far, I've been lucky. They haven't been in my neighborhood yet.
Oh, good. So. Okay. Well, I hope that continues for you, or you might have another story by the time you come on again.
Come back. Oh, they came to my yard
and they ate everything in sight. So we need some seagulls now. We were talking about that, saying the dump doesn't have seagulls anymore because we could have used them. Yeah, at this point. Yeah. Annette Robinson is our Elko City Clerk, and she's giving us our city update today here on Elko Live on KELK. You still have some more things on your stack?
I do. I just actually, so the city clerk's office, we're responsible for business license and permitting. And now that summer's here, we have a lot of special events going on. So we do post those when those are permitted. They are then posted on our calendar on our website. And so if they're not on our calendar, they might not be permitted.
Something to check out?
Yeah, definitely. For public safety. So I know this time year people come door to door. So actually, we don't allow peddlers, solicitors, unless they have their permit.
That's for everyone's safety.
It is for everybody's safety. So if somebody comes knocking on your door, you have every right to ask them if they have their permit. Mm-hmm. And then, you can turn them away and tell them they need to go to the city clerk's office to get that permit. Because we check, so they have to have a work permit through the police department in order to get that license. So we can check who's actually walking our streets trying to solicit or peddle an item of some sort.
Or a service.
A service. I know there was a while back, solar, people were going solar panel, and I ended up having to finally find out who it was, and then they had to come in and get their permit.
And they will. If they're legitimate, they will.
Right.
Yes.
Or if they're not, then
they
move on.
Yep, and that's what we want, and that's part of the process. And again, if you are legitimate and you're selling door to door, or that's what we call them, peddler licenses, it's for your protection too. I mean, because you don't know what you're going to be walking into, so yeah,
right. And so then we know who's out there on the streets, because we get their names, phone numbers, how to contact them, so that if we hear of something, we can say, hey, something's going on in this area. You shouldn't.
Yeah, this is an issue. People are concerned, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I usually get all the complaints, so.
Well, you must handle them with care, so, because your demeanor's pretty awesome, Annette.
Well,
so,
thank you.
Yeah. So if you are looking to sell door to door, now I'm sure there are some exceptions, like we do get yard sales, we do have lemonade stands, things like that.
That kind of stuff we're not looking at. So yeah, garage sales, you can have a garage sale. It's your property. So your kids are selling lemonade out on your corner. That's not an issue. No, it's people that are, most of these peddlers, and they're coming from out of town. We don't know who they are. So we need to know who they are, right?
Yeah. And if those occasional sales become perpetual, that can also be another issue too. So don't abuse it, have the yard sale and move on, or the lemonade stand and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
summertime, the lemon stand,
Yeah.
I think a lot of officers like to go by and get lemonade.
I think so too. And that's a good outreach for them too. It's nice. They get to kind of mingle with some of the kids in the neighborhood, stop and get some lemonade. So I know I like it when we have a lemonade stand in my neighborhood too. It's often set up by the little library, so it's fun.
Oh, well,
yeah.
That's a perfect spot, right?
Yeah.
Get a book, get a lemonade.
Yep, it's true. So what else have you got for us today?
Just about all the other permits. We have temporary merchant permits. Those permits, they can last up to 30 days. It's $103.50. So if you're trying to sell some goods, but you don't have a fixed location, you do need to get the property owner's permission. So we have the stake sales, people that come into town periodically from California or that kind of stuff. So people are selling oranges or strawberries. Now, none of them have been permitted this year, so if you see them, you ask them for their permit, or tell them they need to come to City Hall so we can get them their permits. Special other events, vendor events, those are like art in the park and things like that. So if you have a lot of vendors that you're putting on, we just like to keep track of all the businesses that are at these events and if they actually have city business license or not. If they're from out of town, then you have to pay for those. But anybody that's already has a city business license, those ones are they're free because they're already part of our city.
So I'm thinking, Annette, some people listening might say, what about food trucks, right?
So food trucks actually get an actual business license, and all of them that I know of right now are all licensed. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And the little snow cone play, all of them, they have various permits and permissions. And
right. So like at the city park, we have what it's called a concessionaire's permit, and We have 6 spots there that we rent out, and so we have businesses. So if people are like, oh, they're selling stuff in the park, well, we have 6 businesses that are actually using those spots. So
Yeah. They
the
pay,
snow
it's permitted. Yeah.
So it's a $50 fee a month.
Mhm.
So they
Because there is consideration to brick and mortar businesses, and at the time the city, because I remember this was a new thing for the city to permit this kind of thing. Well, when Glenn Guthrie got on the city council, he said, I run a business. I sell furniture. I really don't appreciate it when somebody drives up with a semi, opens a truck, and starts selling because they don't charge sales tax. There were
right
a lot of concerns.
And that's what we do, is making sure that sales tax is being collected, that kind of stuff, with all these permits. So it would be very beneficial if people were aware of all that. But
And they can just call you, Annette.
they can call. My number is 775-777-7126. And then we have Sarah. She's our business license technician, basically. She, and I can't say her last name, so I'm not going to.
She's lovely. She really, yeah.
She is so sweet. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But her number is 775-777-7138, and she definitely can answer your questions when it comes to any business license questions or permitting questions. So
Yeah, the city of Elko wants folks to be successful. And again, this is permitting process, goes both ways. It helps protect the merchant as well as, the potential client or customers and the resources and the existing businesses. So,
and all this information is definitely all on our website at elkocity.com. Business license applications are there. All the temporary permitting's all on there. So you just need to go there, print off an application, drop it off. We'll get it, all processed, and you'll be
good to go.
good to go. Yep.
Annette Robinson is our Elko City Clerk, and with just the little bit of time we have left, if it's enough to also, I've seen you, in action at City Council, reminding the council members, the elected officials, about the responsibility of our hotels and motels. They have to pay their room taxes. They pay their water bills. And there are dozens, I don't know the exact number of those businesses in Elko, but that's a lot of oversight too.
Yeah, that is. And then, like the room tax situation, I know we are right now working on trying to get everybody that's Airbnb or Vrbo or anything like that, they are supposed to be paying room tax. I know when they sign up, it says Vrbo or Airbnb will say that they'll collect the tax, but if they're not, the city of Elko is not registered with them, so they do not pay us directly. So it's up to the owner of that Airbnb or short-term rental property to pay their room tax direct to us. And it's a walk-through tax, so we don't get to keep it. It gets divvied out to the convention center, the Western Folklife Center, the recreation board, the Elko Parks and Recreation. It goes to a lot of different entities, right? Because that room tax is, collected from people that are coming from out of town, staying in our hotels. So,
and you're harming local businesses who do have to pay those taxes.
Correct.
Yeah,
right?
if you neglect to do that.
Yes. So it's not fair.
It is not fair. And it's interesting that you said that, because that just occurred to me. So if VRBO or whatever the companies are that do the online bookings say, oh, we're collecting the tax, well, they're misrepresenting, because they're not giving the tax to Elko City.
Right. So they will collect it for registered cities. So I think in Las Vegas is a registered city, and I believe Reno, but nowhere else in Nevada. I don't think there's any other ones.
So whose responsibility is that to register? Yeah.
Well, then it's the person that owns the short-term rental. It's their responsibility to collect that tax. So what happens, they'll get paid, and they think, oh, well, the money was taken out for the tax. It was not in Elko. So it's actually, they're giving it back to you. So they've collected it, from the person renting from them, but they're keeping it.
And I wondered about that too. So Elko is not registered with these online companies that book VRBO, or what's the other VRBOs or
Airbnb.
Airbnb. Yeah.
There's a couple smaller ones out there.
Yeah.
But
So the city can't take action, or I guess maybe have an ordinance to say, oh no, you know, companies, if you're going to do business in Elko, you have to register and pay the tax, right? I mean, but it's the responsibility.
Yeah. Because it's them. They're just using an online platform to, advertise basically. So
Interesting. Okay. So that, that's not being paid in a lot of cases. So if you have a business, VRBO, any kind of vacation rental, anything like that, you have to contact the city clerk. Now, if there's only one of them, then you don't have to have a business license.
You don't have to have a business license. City code says you have to have 3 or more rental properties to have a business license. So if you even have rental properties that are long-term rentals, you should have a business license if you have 3 or more. So
also important, yeah.
Yes.
Because again, it helps to pay for the very infrastructure, that you're impacting in the community. So, yeah.
That's correct.
Interesting. Annette, thank you. As always, learning something new every time you're on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I hope we got to all your topics today.
I think we did.
Annette Robinson is our Elko City Clerk in for the City Update on Tuesday here on KELK.